What's up, everybody? It's Mikey124, and I'm back with another edition of my history in gaming. I left off the last episode just about at the point of PS1, when I got my PS1, and I'm going to get into that part of the commentary in just 1 second. I just want to explain exactly what it is you guys are watching. Right now, this is Trials HD. It's an Xbox Live arcade game. It is very simple and pretty old school, and the reason why I'm posting this is because I was watching the X Games over the weekend, and well, this was last weekend already, but there was actually something very similar to this. The last, I think they called it like Enduro Cross. It looked absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, this was a really fun game and really old school feeling. I've been meaning to get myself some ROMs and emulators so I can post some legitimate old school gameplay, but I just have been kind of lazy about it. I don't really trust downloading much off the internet, and I have a friend who has like about 2 gigs worth of ROMs and emulators that I know are safe and virus free. So I've been meaning to grab those from him, and once I do, I'll have you some more old school gameplay, and I'll continue on these this little mini series about my history of gaming. And yeah, we'll see how far I get this episode. But yeah, we'll just get started, I guess. I got PlayStation 1 in 1995. I had just moved, or me and my family had just moved from West Palm Beach, Florida, all the way to Orland Park, Kansas. It's basically the middle of the country. It's the middle of nowhere. There's not much going on, and lifestyle changes were pretty drastic. In Florida, you spend almost all day, every day outside, and then, yeah, in Kansas, it's more like everybody's pretty solitary. Everybody's like pretty much like by themselves, and people get into their own habits, and I think that's how I kind of got into like super hardcore gaming. I always loved gaming like on the Nintendo days, but I never really I don't know, did it like very much by myself, and like for like anything other than just like pure like dumbed down simple fun. I don't know, I kind of liked, well, once I got PS1, I kind of liked the idea of beating games for the story, beating games for like self-accomplishment. Like it was literally something that like I would try for a while, and then yeah, it'd make you feel really good like once you finally did it. So I think Kansas was definitely a turning point in my gaming styles, and yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just leave it at that. The first games I got on PlayStation 1, I know, were the original Resident Evil. It came in like a big box, and yeah, I was in 4th grade, and my mom was letting me play a mature-rated game. Love you, Mom. I love that she let me do that one, because that was a great game, and I feel like I would have missed out big time if I had never played that. I also got Mortal Kombat Trilogy when it first came out. My mom took a while to come around for the whole Mortal Kombat thing. I liked it when it was in the arcade and on Super Nintendo, and she finally like caved and let me get it. The PlayStation 1 was really like, I feel like, the last big gift my mom ever bought me. I spent a ton of time playing PlayStation just because, I mean, we had just moved, and I feel like it was easier than like making new friends. You just do something like by myself. Right here, I ran out of Trials footage, so this is a Marvel vs. Capcom. But anyways, I was big into the fighting games. I got Mortal Kombat. I loved it. I also got a demo that came with the system, and I think it was literally the very first demo. It had like Armored Core on it, and like the Die Hard Trilogy demo, and I can't even remember what else. It had a lot of really old school games. I think the very first Jet Moto had a demo on there. All these games, aside from the Die Hard Trilogy, Armored Core was a ton of fun. Die Hard Trilogy was so hard. I don't know if anybody ever rented that one or ever played that one, but it was pretty brutal. But yeah, I played the crap out of it. About a year after we were in Kansas, my dad got another job opportunity back in Illinois, which is where I'm living again now. It was 1997, I think, or maybe 96 when we moved again. So we only stayed 1 year in Kansas, and yeah, during that time, I definitely did a lot of gaming. I played a lot of platformers, I feel like. I played a lot of like single-player stories. I still was playing Super Nintendo here and there, but for the most part, it was PS1 and 64 as well, because I was basically the only kid on the block with the PlayStation 1, and a couple of my friends had 64s, so I would bring over the PlayStation to their houses, or they would bring over the 64 to my house. Either way, we do like lots of gaming. On 64, I remember the favorites being, I'm pretty sure it was Doom 64 or Duke Nukem 64, but it was one of those really old school first-person shooters, one of the very first-person shooters I ever played, and I loved it. I got into that one pretty hardcore. I got into Turok. I got into 007. GoldenEye was a great game. All these games I feel like were just the essentials. Since I didn't have a 64 growing up, I just played the ones that I felt were really, really good, that I knew everybody liked and I knew everybody had. So I obviously played the party games as well, Mario Party, Mario Kart. What was the other one? What's the fighting one? Smash Brothers was a huge one, and I know that's still around. Super Smash Brothers is still a good franchise. But yeah, so we moved back to Illinois the next year in '97, and this was a huge year in gaming for me. '97 was the year Final Fantasy VII had come out. It was 9797. I remember the exact date, September 7th, 1997. Final Fantasy VII was just monumental. It changed the way I thought about gaming again. I'd played a few or just like RPGs in my career. I mentioned I had played Earthbound and Final Fantasy III and Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG. But Final Fantasy VII was the first game I had ever played, I believe, that was more than one disc. And when I saw like 3 discs in there, I was like, wow, this is going to be an epic game. And I remember just being absolutely blown away by the graphics, which is so funny because like if you look at them now, you'd be like, what are you thinking, Mikey? These graphics suck. But they don't. The game was awesome. It was just incredible. If you never played Final Fantasy VII, I strongly encourage you to go buy it on the PSN. You can buy it on PlayStation Network. I think it's $10. Or, yeah, maybe try and download it somewhere. Try and find it for the PC. It's a really, really good game. But, yeah, then the following year came Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid was another monumental game for me. I didn't really like stealth games. I hadn't played too many of them. Like I was more of like a run and gun type of player, but Metal Gear Solid showed me how much fun being stealthy and like messing with AI could really be. I'm sure we all remember cardboard box days, hiding in a box, and yeah, just messing with the AI. There was so much funny stuff you could do in that game, and the story itself was just, it was beyond what my 5th grader mind could even comprehend at that time, but I still loved it. It wasn't until I went back and played the game at like 16 or 17 when I like fully started to comprehend what was going on in that game. And yeah, the whole incident at Shadow Moses was absolutely incredible. Metal Gear Solid, the first one, another monumental game in my gaming career. Yeah, just huge influence. I'm trying to think of other PS1 titles that really changed the way that I played games or the way that I saw games and like wanted to play games. I know as far as shooter games go, I wasn't huge into too many of them on PS1. There was one, I don't know if this is PS2 days already, but there was one called Time Splitters that was a lot of fun, and Duke Nukem Time to Kill was also a really, really fun game. That was on PS1 for sure. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, I played pretty much all like the standard PS1 games. I played the first 2 Tomb Raider games, but they kind of started getting really difficult for me after that, so I kind of lost interest in that pretty quick. I played the Spyro games, which were awesome games. I've had a couple subscribers mention that, yeah, Spyro is a big game in their gaming history. I don't know if you guys remember this little guy. He had like pink hair, and it was a platformer game. It was totally fun. It had like themes of Zelda in it, where you'd have to like go backtrack to areas and like go grab a collectible that you weren't able to grab before. The name of the game was called Tomba, or Toomba, Tomba. It was really fun, and I played the crap out of it. It's so funny to look back at like these games that I played so hardcore, and now I can't even like remember much about them. But I'm running out of time again on this commentary, and I feel like I'm just about wrapping up PS1 right now, and my next couple years on gaming were a little bit flaky. Around 6th or 7th grade, I started skateboarding pretty hardcore. I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater actually on PS1, believe it or not, and yeah, I wanted to skateboard. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a cool thing to do, and I got into it really hard. So the next couple years, I was kind of on and off with the gaming. I wasn't as hardcore. I never got a PS2. It was like my brother's PS2, and yeah, I kind of just stayed on my skateboard. It took me a little bit of time to get back into the hardcore gaming scene, but yeah, I can talk more about that in my next commentary. I'll talk about the PS2 and I don't know, skateboarding days and me being a wild hooligan and what I was doing, those kind of terrible things in the period that I probably should have just stuck with the games. But if you like this commentary, give it a thumbs up and check back next week, I'm assuming, for the next part of this. Alright, have a good one, guys. Peace.